ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿਸ਼ਵ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੰਗਠਨ ਦੇ ਬੁਲਾਰੇ ਬਲਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਅਗਲੇ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਅਲਬਰਟਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲੇ G7 ਸੰਮੇਲਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਹੋਣ ਲਈ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨਰਿੰਦਰ ਮੋਦੀ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਗਏ ਸੱਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਰੱਦ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਮੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਲਈ ਬਕਾਇਦਾ ਓਟਾਵਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ, ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ੀ ਦਖਲਅੰਦਾਜ਼ੀ ਅਤੇ ਅੰਤਰਰਾਸ਼ਟਰੀ ਜ਼ੁਲਮ ਦੀ ਜਨਤਕ ਜਾਂਚ ਕਰਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਮੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮੋਦੀ ਦਾ ਸੱਦਾ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਵਾਪਸ ਲੈ ਲਿਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਭਾਰਤ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਜਾਂਚਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਮਾਮਲਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਖਲਅੰਦਾਜ਼ੀ ਬੰਦ ਕਰਨ ਅਤੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨਾ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ। ਇਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਸਿੱਖ ਫੈਡਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਬੁਲਾਰੇ ਮੋਨਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਵੀ ਮੌਜੂਦ ਸਨ। ਮੋਨਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਕੁਝ ਸਾਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਗਭਗ 6 ਵਾਰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਏਜੰਸੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਰੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਚੇਤਾਵਨੀ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੈ। ਉਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਮਹੀਨਿਆਂ ਤੱਕ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਰਹੇ ਸਨ। ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਲਈ RCMP ਨਾਲ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ।
And we're here on behalf of a collective of Sikh organizations, which include the Ontario Gurdwaras Committee, the BC Gurdwaras Council, the Sikh Federation Canada, Quebec Sikh Council, and the World Sikh Organization of Canada. So just today, Global News has reported that a suspected agent of the government of India linked to the criminal Bishnoi gang was actively surveilling Jagmeet Singh, then a sitting MP and leader of a federal party, right here in Canada. And the credible risk to Jagmeet Singh's life prompted a duty to warn and active police protection. So let's let that sink in. India targeted a Canadian politician on Canadian soil. That's absolutely unprecedented. As far as we're concerned, that's an act of war. What other Canadian politician or leader has to carry the burden of representing his constituents, his party, but also protecting themselves from foreign assassination plots? And that raises a question in our community. If Jagmeet Singh, who is the highest profile Sikh in Canada, isn't safe, then what does that mean for the rest of us? And this isn't a one-off. It's the latest and the most brazen in a chapter of transnational oppression directed by India at Sikhs in Canada. In October of last year, you may recall that the RCMP confirmed that Indian agents were involved in multiple homicides, extortions, shootings, all targeted at Sikh Canadians. And that same day, Canada expelled 6 Indian diplomats who were suspected of being involved in these crimes. We later learned from Canada's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs that Narendra Modi's inner circle, specifically Amit Shah, the Home Minister, personally ordered this campaign of terror, which involved gathering intelligence through India's diplomatic network and working with the Bishnoi gang, who was named in this Jagmeet Singh situation, to orchestrate violence. I'll point out to you that the Bishnoi gang, as recently as last month, took responsibility for the murder of a Sikh businessman in Mississauga. Today, well over a dozen Sikh Canadians continue to live with active duty to warn threats. And that means there's credible threats against their lives. And those threats originate from India. And despite all of this, Prime Minister Mark Carney has invited Narendra Modi to the G7 summit without any assurances that India will stop targeting Canadian Sikhs, without any cooperation on the ongoing criminal investigations, and without a single public concession, without anything about foreign interference that targets our electoral systems, our governments, our citizens. If targeting a Canadian political leader on Canadian soil isn't enough to be barred from entering Canada, then where is our red line? Where do we draw that line? In fact, it seems there is no red line when it comes to our community. It's telling Sikh Canadians that our lives simply don't matter. It says that even when we're targeted for killing by India, and our government knows that the highest level of the Indian government, including Narendra Modi's inner circle, is involved in making these hits, we will still roll out the red carpet and welcome the leader of that government. This isn't a betrayal just of our community. This is a betrayal of Canada's core values of sovereignty, self-determination, justice, and the rule of law. So today, on behalf of Sikh organizations across Canada, we are making some concrete calls for action. Those 3 demands are, firstly, that a public inquiry into India's foreign interference and transnational oppression be held. Secondly, intelligence sharing agreements with India and any intelligence sharing should immediately be cancelled. And finally, the invitation to Narendra Modi to the G7 summit should be withdrawn unless India cooperates with Canadian law enforcement in the ongoing investigations and pledges to no longer interfere in Canada and to no longer target Sikhs in Canada. But I want us to understand this isn't just a Sikh issue, and that's really been the pain. At least 3 murders in Canada, extortions, shootings, now targeting a federal political leader. This doesn't compare to foreign interference by any other country. And if we allow one community like ours to be targeted like this, it means every Canadian's at risk. We can't afford the double standards that we're seeing, and we have to take a strong stand, just like we've done with China, Russia, Iran. For India, this isn't just an invitation, it's a capitulation. And that's the way it's been framed in the Indian media. This means it's open season on Sikhs in Canada. It's embarrassing for Canada, and it's dangerous for Sikh Canadians. So I'll close with this, that this is a moment that called for courage. We cannot bend over backwards for India. We need our government to start standing up for justice, for accountability, and the safety of all Canadian Sikhs, as well as all Canadians.
ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਗਲੋਬਲ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਟੀਵੀ ਨੂੰ ਡਾਊਨਲੋਡ ਕਰੋ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਪ ਐਂਡਰੋਇਡ ਜਾਂ iOS ਤੇ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ roku ਅਤੇ Amazon Fire TV ਤੇ ਜਾਂ Apple TV ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਲਾਈਵ ਸਟ੍ਰੀਮਿੰਗ www.globalpunjabtv.com ਤੇ